Crash Bandicoot went on to sell over 6 million units, making it one of the best-selling PlayStation games and the highest-selling ranked on sales in the United States. Released in 1996 on PlayStation, it became the first installment in an eponymous series of games that would achieve critical and commercial success and establish Naughty Dog's reputation in the video game industry. Crash Bandicoot is a platform game in which the player controls the titular character Crash, who is tasked to defeat Dr. Neo Cortex and rescue Tawna. The majority of the game takes place from a third-person perspective, but certain levels require him to flee from a rolling boulder and reverse this perspective, while other levels are played from a traditional side-scrolling perspective. In 2018, the game was ranked number 179 in GameSTM's list of 200 greatest games of all time. The game sold over 1 million units worldwide in 1996, becoming the fourth and fifth best-selling PlayStation game of 1996 in the United States and Europe, respectively. Crash Bandicoot's success continued into 1997, in which it was the 10th best-selling video game in the United States. In May 1997, Crash Bandicoot became the first non-Japanese game to receive a gold prize in Japan for sales of over 500,000 units. By late February 1998, its sales in the United States reached 1.5 million units, while Japanese and European sales reached 610,000 and 725,000 units, respectively. The game spanned nearly 2 years on the NPD TRSTS Top 20 PlayStation sales charts. As of November 2003, Crash Bandicoot has sold over 6.8 million units worldwide, making it one of the best-selling PlayStation video games of all time and the highest-selling ranked on sales in the United States. Crash Bandicoot 2: Cortex Strikes Back follows the adventures of the anthropomorphic Bandicoot. Crash is abducted by series villain Dr. Neo Cortex, who tricks him into thinking he wants to save the world. Crash's sister, Coco, and Cortex's former assistant, Dr. Nitrous Brio, try to warn him about Cortex, with the latter urging Crash to gather gems instead of crystals. Boxes play a prominent role in Cortex Strikes Back and can be broken with all of Crash's techniques. Most boxes in the game contain Wumpa fruit, which give the player an extra life if 100 of them are collected. Some boxes contain a witch doctor's mask, which shields Crash from one enemy's attack while it is in his possession. If 3 masks are collected in a row, Crash is given temporary invulnerability from all minor dangers. John Brody of GameSpot considered the game to be superior to its predecessor, commenting positively on the Warp Room concept, improved game-saving system and variety of the levels. Sean Smith of Electronic Gaming Monthly praised the colorfulness, lack of breakup, animation, reflections, and lighting effects. Crash Bandicoot 2 was nominated for Console Game of the Year and Console Action Game of the Year at the inaugural Interactive Achievement Awards. By late February 1998, its sales had reached 1 million units in the United States, 800,000 units in Japan, and 340,000 units in Europe. By February 1999, 4.08 million copies of Crash Bandicoot had been shipped to retailers worldwide. By December 2007, Cortex Strikes Back had sold 3.78 million units in the United States and 1.3 million in Japan. This makes it one of the best-selling PlayStation video games of all time. The game's success resulted in its re-release for the Sony Greatest Hits lineup on August 30th, 1998, and for the Platinum range in 1999. The game replaced Crash Bandicoot as the highest-selling non-Japanese title in Japan. The original trilogy was completed in 1998 with the release of Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. The game's story takes place immediately after the events of the second game, when the ruins of Dr. Neo Cortex's space station crash land on Earth. They unleash an evil entity known as Uka Uka, Aku Aku's evil twin brother, who joins with Cortex and the time-obsessed Dr. Nefarious Tropy as they plan to gather powerful crystals that lay scattered across time and used their energy to enslave the Earth. Warped received very positive reviews, and with a Metacritic score of 91 out of 100, it is considered one of the best games of all time. Official US PlayStation Magazine considered the game to be the best 2.5D platformer ever released. By February 1999, 2.9 million copies of Warped had been shipped to retailers worldwide. At the 1999 Melia Festival in Cannes, it took home a gold prize for revenues above 15 million euros in the European Union during the previous year. By 2002, Warped had sold over 5.7 million units worldwide, making it the 13th best-selling PlayStation video game of all time. The game's success resulted in its re-release for the Sony Greatest Hits lineup on August 23, 1999, and for the Platinum range in 2000. Crash Bandicoot Warped was a bestseller in Japan and was the first non-Japanese PlayStation title to receive a Platinum prize in Japan for selling over 1 million units. Game Informer placed the game 26th on their top 100 video games of all time in 2000. In 2024, Christopher Cruz of Rolling Stone ranked Warped as the number 4 best PlayStation games of all time. Crash Team Racing took the concept of Mario Kart into the Crash universe. It was released in 1999 exclusively for the PlayStation. The game's story focuses on the efforts of Crash Bandicoot, Dr. Neo Cortex, and other ragtag team of characters in the Crash Bandicoot series, who must race against the egomaniacal nitrous oxide to save the Earth from destruction. During the races, speed-boosting power-ups can be used to gain an advantage. Crash Team Racing scores 88 out of 100 on Metacritic. It was frequently deemed the best kart racer on the PlayStation. The multiplayer modes, especially 4-player racing and battle mode, were a major strength, offering high replayability and fun for groups. Critics emphasized the seamless 4-player experience. Crash Team Racing was nominated for Console Racing Game of the Year at the 3rd Annual Interactive Achievement Awards. Overall, the game sold 1.9 million units in the United States and over 300,000 units in Japan. As a result of its success, the game was re-released for the Sony Greatest Hits lineup in 2000 and for the Platinum range. Crash Bash is a party video game released in 2000. Crash Bash is the first game in the series not to be developed by Naughty Dog, as well as the last Crash Bandicoot game to be exclusively released on a Sony console. The game received mixed reviews from critics, who widely noted its similarity to Mario Party. The gameplay consists of 28 different minigames divided into 7 categories with multiple variations. According to the NPD Group, Crash Bash was the 16th highest-selling console game of December 2000 in North America, as well as the 7th best-selling PlayStation title. In the United Kingdom, the game received a Platinum Sales Award, indicating sales of at least 300,000 copies. Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex was the first installment of the series released for the PlayStation 2 and later ported to the Xbox and GameCube. The plot centers on the appearance of Crash Bandicoot, a genetically advanced bandicoot created by the main antagonist of the series, Dr. Neo Cortex, who has harnessed the power of a group of destructive mass spirits known as the Elementals. Crash Bandicoot and his sister Coco must travel the world and gather special crystals that will return the Elementals to a hibernated state. Reviewers felt that the game was a non-challenging repetition of the formula set by the previous games. The PlayStation 2 edition sold 1.56 million copies in North America, and the game qualified for various bestseller ranges, including the Platinum range for PlayStation 2, Xbox Classics, and Player's Choice on GameCube. It was released as a launch title for the Xbox Originals line of downloadable original Xbox games for the Xbox 360. Crash Bandicoot: The Huge Adventure was released in 2002 for Game Boy Advance. Critical reactions were generally positive. The game was praised for its graphics, overall design, and transition to a handheld format. The review aggregator Metacritic reports that the game received an average score of 78 out of 100. In 2003, the game received a sequel, Crash Bandicoot 2 Entranced. The game's story follows Crash Bandicoot as he rescues his brainwashed friends from Dr. Nefarious Tropy and his new ally Entrance. IGN commended the game's recreation of the core Crash Bandicoot experience. The mix of side-scrolling, platforming, chase sequences, and Atlas sphere levels was appreciated, and visuals were widely praised for their vibrant colors, smooth animations, and detailed environments, pushing the GBA's capabilities. Later, the same year, Crash Nitro Kart was published by Universal Interactive for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, and Game Boy Advance. The game's plot centers on the abduction of Crash Bandicoot, along with other characters in the series, by the ruthless dictator Emperor Velo 27, who threatens to destroy the Earth if they refuse to race in his gigantic Colosseum for the entertainment of his subjects. Damian Lean of Electronic Gaming Monthly noted that the gameplay was nearly identical to Crash Team Racing's, even down to the speed-boosting Wumpa fruits. So if you loved it before, you'll still love it. In 2004, Crash Bandicoot Purple, Ripto's Rampage, and Spyro Orange, the Cortex Conspiracy, were released. The games are a crossover between the Crash Bandicoot and Spyro series. Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon must team up and defeat Dr. Cortex and Ripto. While the games feature platforming elements that allow Crash and Spyro to navigate different areas, the main focus is on a series of minigames that make up the core of the gameplay. But both games were not received well by critics. On Metacritic, Crash Purple scores 67 out of 100, while Spyro Orange only 60 out of 100. Also in 2004, Crash Twinsanity was released on PS2 and Xbox. The game's story takes place 3 years after the events of Crash Bandicoot, The Wrath of Cortex, and follows the main protagonist and antagonist of the series, Crash Bandicoot, and Dr. Neo Cortex, who must work together to stop the evil twins, a pair of interdimensional pirates, from destroying Sanity Island. Crash Twinsanity differs from previous entries in the series through its free-roaming gameplay style. The player can explore the game's environments in all directions and travel seamlessly between levels. Crash Twinsanity received mixed reviews from critics upon release. The open-world setting was welcomed as an improvement over the claustrophobic level design of previous games. Crash Tag Team Racing is a 2005 kart racing game. It is the third racing game in the Crash Bandicoot video game series. The game received mixed reviews upon release. Praise went to its clashing mechanic, genre-blending approach, visuals, voice acting, and humor, while criticism went to its lack of depth, low difficulty, the execution of its platforming elements, and technical issues on the PSP version. In 2006, Vivendi released Crash Boom Bang on Nintendo DS. It is a party game with stages resembling board games. Players simultaneously roll dice. Depending on the type of square that the player lands on, Wumpa fruit can be won or lost, an item can be obtained, a special event might be triggered, or a minigame might commence. Crash Boom Bang features 40 minigames that can be played alone or remotely against friends. The sixth game in the main franchise was released in 2007. Crash of Titans story centers on the discovery of a substance known as Mojo, which series antagonist Dr. Neo Cortex and his niece Nina harvest to turn the inhabitants of the Wumpa Islands into an army of ferocious mutants known as Titans. The game scores around 70 on Metacritic, depending on port. Critics felt that the game's combat, despite the jacking mechanic adding a unique flavor to the gameplay, quickly became repetitive due to the game's lack of puzzles and exploration. The game made £3.35 million in the UK by the end of 2007. Crash of the Titans was a nominee in the Writers Guild of America's inaugural Video Game Writing Awards. It was also selected as a nominee in the Best Sound Design and Best Character categories of the second annual Elan Awards. Crash Bandicoot Nitro Karta 3D was released on mobile devices in 2008. Nitrous Oxide, the main antagonist of Crash Team Racing, teams up with Dr. Neo Cortex and Ripper Roo and stages a kart racing tournament to bring Crash Bandicoot and his friends out of hiding. The winners of the tournament will be crowned kings of kart racing for all eternity, while the losers will be banished from Twinsanity Island. The game received positive reviews. By April 2009, Nitro Kart 3D was the highest-selling paid application on the App Store. The first to be published by Activision following its merging with the series' previous publisher, Vivendi Games, and the last major console entry as a whole until 2017 was Crash Mind Over Mutants from 2008. Crash Mind Over Mutant takes place a year later after the events of where Crash of the Titans left off. The Titans, free from the control of Dr. Neo Cortex, have spread throughout the Wumpa Islands. All seems well until a rejuvenated Cortex teams up with his old partner Nitrous Brio to invent a personal digital assistant, the NV, that can control the minds of both mutants and bandicoots by transmitting bad mojo. The game received mixed reviews. GameZone considered the game slightly better than Crash of the Titans, noting improvements in controls, gameplay, and storyline from its predecessor. GameSpot claimed that the game has too much backtracking and too many camera problems to make it recommendable. Another mobile installment, Crash Bandicoot Mutant Island, was released in 2009. It turned out to be a solid game, well received by critics. In 2010, it was followed by Crash Bandicoot Nitro Kart 2, released exclusively for iPhone. Unlike the original, Nitro Kart 2 has been given an online multiplayer mode. It made Kotaku's list of best racing game apps, where it placed second among iOS apps. Crash Bandicoot and Sane Trilogy is a 2017 video game compilation released on PlayStation 4. It includes remasters of the first 3 platform video games, Crash Bandicoot, Cortex Strikes Back in 1997, and Warped. The Sane Trilogy received generally positive reviews from critics, with praise for its graphics, level design, improved gameplay, and faithfulness to the originals. The game had sold 20 million units by June 2024. In the United Kingdom, the Sane Trilogy was the best-selling game for 8 consecutive weeks since its initial release. Crash Bandicoot Sane Trilogy won the award for Best Remake Remaster at IGN's 2017 awards, while the readers and staff of Game Informer voted it as the Best Remastered Action and Best Remastered Remade Game. In 2019, another remaster was released, Crash Team Racing. Nitro-Fueled includes additional content from Crash Nitro Kart and Crash Tag Team Racing, alongside adjustments to the original gameplay, including kart customization, 2 adventure mode variations, and an in-game shop. During its release week, Nitro-Fueled opened at number 1 in the UK for the week ending June 30th, 2019. As of June 2025, the game has sold over 10 million copies. The game won the award for Best Racing Game at the 2019 Game Critics Awards and for Best Sports Racing Game at the Game Awards 2019. IGN named Nitro-Fueled the best racing game of 2019. Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time was released in 2020 for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, with releases for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, and Windows. Following their defeat at the hands of Crash, Uka Uka attempts to liberate himself and Dr. Neo Cortex from their prison in the past. His effort rips open a hole in the fabric of space and time and causes him to pass out. Cortex and Entropy escape, abandoning Uka Uka. They discover that the rift links their universe to the rest of the multiverse and decide to make use of it to conquer all dimensions. Aku Aku, Uka Uka's twin brother, senses a great power emanating from Sanity Island's central peak and urges Crash to investigate. As of April 2024, the game has sold over 5 million copies across all platforms. Crash Bandicoot, for its about time, received generally favorable reviews on all platforms, according to review aggregator Metacritic, where the game scores around 85, depending on the platform. Michael Larry of Game Revolution gave the game a perfect score and proclaimed it to be the best entry in the series. But though it received few nominations, it didn't win any awards and the sales were lower than recent remasters. Meanwhile, that same year, a mobile, endless runner Crash Bandicoot On the Run was released for Android and iOS. It received mixed reviews from critics, who praised the presentation, but criticized the lack of challenge and repetitive gameplay. The game was a commercial success, topping download charts in several countries and becoming the fastest downloaded mobile game within 4 days. Following its full launch on March 25th, the game was downloaded more than 8.1 million times in one day. It topped the Google Play game chart in 31 countries, as well as the chart for overall downloaded apps in 6 countries. According to Sensor Tower's Q1 Data Digest report, the game generated $700,000 in revenue within its first week. According to App Annie, it was the second most downloaded new mobile game in the United States in Q1 2021. Crash Team Rumble came out in 2023 for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X/S. The gameplay pits 2 teams of players against each other as they stockpile Wumpa fruit while impeding the opposing team's efforts. Critics expressed concern for the game's ability to sustain a community due to its pricing, limited content, and live service model, with some fearing an early shutdown. The game's 3 seasons introduced new gameplay modes as well as new characters and maps, including some from the Spyro series. While no new game has been officially announced as of June 2025, the signs are strong that multiple Crash Bandicoot projects are in active development. With Toys for Bob now operating as an independent studio with support from Microsoft following the Activision Blizzard acquisition, creative freedom could bring exciting innovations to the franchise.